Okay, this is Mrs. Manny, my lovely wife, sitting on the couch. Thank you for being a guinea pig. And she doesn't like being my guinea pig, so thank you very much. This first Blackmagic RAW constant bit rate, compression is 3:1, and I just put fair skin tone because later I'm sitting in front of the camera and I'm a darker skin tone so that you can see the difference. And now we are Blackmagic RAW, and this is 5:1. I metered her face, and on the shadow side, 1.8, and on the key side was 3.2, and this is 8:1. Input color space is Blackmagic 4.6 film version 3, and this is 12:1. All of these are available to download in their original form, and these are straight out of camera. And this is Q0. Q0. And the next one will be Q5, and this is constant quality Q5. So again, all the settings are the same, and now we're going to move into the Cinema DNG files. It's lossless. Again, metering is the same. And this is 3:1. This is 4:1. Again, I'll remind you that you can download these and look at these for yourself. Please do not try to look at these on YouTube and compare. This is ProRes 444 XQ. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is the change in exposure that you will notice. ProRes 444. ProRes HQ. This is ProRes 422. Blackmagic RAW, 3:1 compression. Cinema DNG, 3:1 compression, back to back. See if you can tell any difference with your eye when you download these. Cinema DNG 3:1. Now, in my opinion, and you're not going to be able to tell this on YouTube, in my opinion, the Cinema DNG still holds up. It looks a little better. Okay, Cinema DNG 3:1, Blackmagic RAW 3:1, split screen. Split screen, top to bottom. And you can see here the difference with the Cinema DNG and the Blackmagic RAW. It's just a little, I mean, the color science looks different. Okay, Rob Manny Jr. sitting on this couch. Why do I look like I'm meditating? Because I'm trying not to be angry with myself because I just did this. This is the third time I'm doing this because I had the high frame rate button pushed one time. I just wasn't recording audio another time. Anyway, so, okay, so Blackmagic RAW. Did some preliminary tests. My final opinion on it is that I don't have a final opinion because I haven't worked with it enough and I don't know enough about it. I didn't do any in-depth tests as far as, you know, more the highlight roll-off or more noise in the blacks, what have you. I did the test with my wife, who is very fair-skinned. I will download some of this footage so that you can look at it because I am darker-skinned. So you can look at both skin tones, which I like to do. And please don't try to judge any of this, the Blackmagic RAW compared to the Cinema DNG RAW and the ProRes on YouTube. Download these files yourself. There's a link in the description. Manipulate them yourself and decide for yourself. I will say the only reason I wouldn't use Blackmagic RAW at this point is the lack of sophistication and manipulation in the RAW tab, which doesn't make any sense to me. The Cinema DNG RAW controls are fairly complex, and it kind of reminds you of Adobe RAW, you know, if you come from a photography background. And I don't understand why that is. there's just so much more you can do in the Cinema DNG RAW tab compared to the Blackmagic RAW tab. And so therefore I wouldn't use it yet. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to get that going and make it better. But why would you release something that's your codec and not have that same level of sophistication? That's confusing to me. So that's why I wouldn't use it at this point. But there's some good things about it. You know, again, look at the files, manipulate them. And if you're thinking about getting, you know, a Blackmagic camera just to use this, excuse me, just to use this codec, you don't have to, because they've also made the SDK available. So they have a developer kit, and you can start working on it yourself. So they made it available to everyone, which is nice. So it's not proprietary. Well, currently it is, but it soon won't be. So yeah, check it out. Rob Manny Jr. on the couch. Hopefully this works this time. It's 1:30 in the morning, 1:32 now. All right. So let's hide this timeline, and yeah. And so I'm just going to use these curves just so, you know, and again, this is the ProRes 444. And again, you can see you're not really losing any quality as you're manipulating the file. The Blackmagic Film V3 setting is great. It maintains your highlights and doesn't crush your shadows. So yeah, you just have a great level of manipulation there. And as we all know, ProRes is really nice to work with. So now we're going to move on to Cinema DNG. And see, right now, see how the highlights are clipping there? Again, you can see, you know, that reflection of the light off of the picture that I have behind to the upper right of my wife's head. But again, you can just move that on down because it's Cinema DNG. And this is, again, the manipulation that you have here. You can move the highlights, the exposure, the lift, the gain, the shadows, the color boost. I just don't know why all these controls aren't available to you in Blackmagic RAW, which I like to call brah, because it's a brah file. Again, 3.2, 1.8, and I metered. And now we're going to go to the Blackmagic RAW. So as far as manipulating the image, you see it exposes right out of camera pretty much the same way as the Cinema DNG, which was nice. But you know, you use the midpoint to really get it where you need to go, and then you can adjust exposure if you need to. But yeah, adjusting the midpoint, I mean, it's fast. And essentially, I think, you know, essentially get the same result that I did with the Cinema DNG with more controls. But again, I would like a little more. Yeah, and you pretty much get the same result with the Blackmagic RAW. Okay, now we're at playback quality, and again, this is actually pretty much worthless, so I'm not going to let it play through because I just told you everything plays extremely well. The Cinema DNG 4.6K, the ProRes 4.6K, and the Blackmagic RAW 4.6K. Now again, I have an older computer. I have a Mac Pro Tower, the aluminum tower, 5.1 model. But I have upgraded it. It has 12 cores. I think it's running. Actually, it comes up in a second. But just know that if you're doing this on a laptop, you're not going to be able to play them outright. But if you have a high-powered desktop, you're going to be just fine. Now, here's the thing where you can see all the metadata with the BRA file. BRA. So this is nice, and this was mentioned at the release. Again, the compression ratio is 3:1. Codec bit rate. The codec bit rate is right there, and again, that's the constant one. So, I shot multiple things with this 3:1 or 5:1, and that codec bit rate will stay the same. If you don't want it to stay the same, then you go to Q0 or Q5. Quality 0, quality 5. It's 12:1. It's Q0 and Q5. And this is just an example of the metadata that you get right out from the Cinema DNG files. And again, you can add as much as you need to while you're shooting. So now we're about to go to our settings here. Again, don't pay attention to the playback frame rate. Again, when I turned off the screen capture, everything was played back very smoothly. So color management. So it's DaVinci Resolve, color manage, and now we're going to the tabs, the RAW tab, Blackmagic RAW, full resolution, and Cinema DNG. Even when I moved that to full resolution, it played back smoothly once I turned the screen capture off. These are the settings of my computer. So it's 3.46 gigahertz. I have two 6-core Xeons in here, 32 gigs of RAM. I'm still using Sierra. And then I have a GTX 1080 in here. So that's why I'm able to play back 4.6K RAW at full resolution. And this is if you just want to see how to install and update your camera. I'm assuming people know how to do this, but I just included it at the end just in case, because I didn't want to assume. But again, you can stop watching now. Thank you. This is Alpha and Omega Productions, Robert Manny Jr., sitting on this couch with another episode of Sitting on the Couch. On the couch. Thank you. Oh, one thing I did want to say was the RAW player. It was said that it was available for PC and Mac and Linux, I'm assuming, but I only saw it for Mac. Maybe I just missed it. I need to look at mine because I have a Mac and a PC, so I need to look to make sure. It just plays back the file, which is nice to be able to play back RAW files right away on your computer so that you can check everything, which is super nice, and you don't have to open up DaVinci Resolve in order to check your files. But that's all it can do is play back. You're not going to get any information. I kind of wished it would give some kind of information if it was 3:1 or 5:1 or 8:1, what have you. But it's just a playback tool.